I was reading this comparison earlier that really stuck with me. For the last, 40 years, building a software application was like trying to fly a 747. You were in the cockpit, surrounded by all these switches and dials. That's your syntax, your server management, your infrastructure.
Oh, that's a perfect image. And if you messed up one of those switches, the whole thing just crashed.
Exactly. But looking at the research we have today, it feels like that era is effectively over. The cockpit is gone. Now, the paradigm has shifted to something much, much simpler. You just talk.
It really has. We've gone from syntax to semantics. It's no longer about memorizing the command sudo apt-get install. It's about being able to articulate an idea. I want a button that saves this to a file.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are exploring a fascinating new methodology that the internet is calling vibe coding. And specifically, we're unpacking a guide that claims to solve, well, the biggest problem in this new era, which is the cost.
Right. Because usually vibe coding, just talking to an AI to build apps, it comes with a really heavy price tag. You either use free tools that are kind of, dumb, or you use the genius level tools that drain your bank account in like an hour.
It's the classic good, fast, cheap pick two dilemma. But our sources today claim you can have all three.
They do. We found a workflow, a stack, if you will, that combines three very specific tools: Google AI Studio, GitHub, and a platform called Google Antigravity. The promise is that if you use them in a specific order, you can build powerful professional-grade apps for literally $0.
Free is a very powerful word. But before we get into the mechanics of the how, I kind of want to sit with the what for a second. Vibe coding. It sounds so loose, almost, undisciplined.
It does sound casual, doesn't it? But the source material puts it a bit differently. It argues that vibe coding isn't about being lazy, it's about shifting the cognitive load. You aren't processing logic, you're processing intent.
So the barrier to entry isn't technical skill anymore, it's clarity of thought.
Precisely. The AI does all the heavy lifting of writing the brackets and semicolons. But, and this is a massive but, you cannot just vibe your way to a complex working application without a process. If you just ramble at the AI, you get spaghetti code. You need a structure.
So let's dismantle this structure. The guide we're analyzing calls it the workshop to lab workflow. Walk us through the players on this team.
Okay, so think of this as a three-part physical workspace. First, you have Google AI Studio. In our analogy, this is your free workshop. It gives you unlimited access to Gemini 3 Pro. According to our notes, this is where you live. This is where 90% of your code gets written.
Okay, so that's the garage. Sawdust on the floor, hammering things together, prototyping.
Exactly. It's messy, it's fast, and most importantly, it's free. You can iterate there all day long. Then you have Google Antigravity. This is the high-tech laboratory. It is vastly more powerful. It has these things called agents, specifically a browser agent, that can actually use your app, test it, and fix the really nasty bugs.
But I'm assuming the high-tech lab comes with a pretty high-tech rent.
It does. It has very strict usage limits. If you stay there too long, you hit a paywall or you get locked out for the day. So you just can't live there.
And the third piece?
GitHub. That's your safety net. It's the glue holding the workshop and the lab together.
So what is the core philosophy of using these three together?
Build in the free workshop, visit the high-tech lab only when necessary.
That makes perfect sense. It's resource management. Now, I want to double-click on this safety net concept. Because in the old days, GitHub was just where you stored code. But here, it sounds more active. The source used a pretty vivid analogy about painting.
Yeah, this really resonated with me. Imagine you've been painting a masterpiece for 3 hours. You are deep in the flow state. The colors are perfect. Then you accidentally knock over a bucket of black paint right onto the canvas.
Ruined.
Completely ruined. In traditional coding, or even just chatting with an AI, one bad prompt can do exactly that. The AI can hallucinate, get confused, and suddenly delete 500 lines of code that you spent all morning building. And if you don't have a save point, it's just gone.
That is a terrifying thought. So how does GitHub stop that black paint spill?
It creates a save point, just like in a video game before a boss battle. But here's the specific nuance from the guy that is absolutely critical, and it's where most people fail. You have to set this up inside Google AI Studio.
Wait, so you don't go to the GitHub website to set it up?
No. If you go to the website, you have to deal with command lines, terminal windows, authorization keys. I mean, it's a friction point that stops beginners cold. The guide says, open your project in Google AI Studio. Look for the little GitHub icon in the interface. Click Create New Repository right there. You name it. Say, My First App, and keep it private.
And why is doing it internally so important?
It lets the AI tool manage the connection automatically, preventing setup headaches.
Okay, so we're safe. We have our insurance policy.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the actual act of creation. We're standing in the workshop Google AI Studio. How do we start? Do I just type, make me a cool app?
You could, but you'll get garbage. As the name implies, vibe coding requires specific vibes. The guide used the example of a daily journal app. You don't just say build it. You need to architect the request. You say, I want a text box, a save button, and a list of past entries. Please plan the file structure first.
That plan the file structure instruction, that seems like a pro move. Why is that necessary?
It forces the AI to think before it types. It makes the model outline the skeleton of the application, your HTML, CSS, JavaScript, before it starts trying to flesh out the details. It prevents the AI from, painting itself into a corner.
And then,
Then you say, go ahead. And the source describes this moment as just pure magic. The preview window lights up. In seconds, code streams onto the screen, and the app actually renders in the sidebar. You can type in the text box immediately.
it's incredible to think about that compression of time. What used to take 2 hours of boilerplate coding happens in 8 seconds.
And you aren't writing logic. You're sculpting. You're iterating. You test it. Maybe the font is too small. You don't hunt for a CSS file. You just say, make the text bigger, or add a dark mode switch. You are sculpting the product with words.
And the strategy is to stay in this mode, this workshop mode, for as long as possible.
Exactly. Keep building here because Gemini 3 Pro is completely free.
But as with all things in engineering, or life, really, you eventually hit a wall. The source talks about the escalation. When do we know it's time to leave the cozy workshop and go to the high-tech lab?
There are usually 3 triggers. 1, a bug that Gemini just can't fix. It tries, but it ends up creating 2 new bugs for every one it squashes. It's just caught in the loop. 2, your files are getting messy and you need a major reorganization. Or 3, and this is the cool one, you need real user testing.
Real user testing, but it's just you building it.
This is where anti-gravity really shines. So let's say you hit a bug. You migrate your code, which is easy because of GitHub. You just open anti-gravity and click Clone Repository, and now you have access to agents.
Agents. That sounds very, I don't know, Matrix. Or some kind of spy thriller.
It's a bit friendlier than that, but arguably more powerful. Think of the browser agent as a digital intern sitting at a computer. The guide describes this visually. You can tell the agent, open the app, type Hello World, click Save, and verify it appears in the list.
And it actually does it. It's not just looking at the code.
No, it's looking at the app.
Yeah.
You see a blue box moving around the screen, clicking buttons for you. It's interacting with the interface like a human would. If it clicks Saves and nothing happens, it reads the error console, looks at the code, and then it suggests a fix.
So it essentially automates the tedious part of debug.
Yes, it acts like a human tester so you don't have to click 50 times.
Right. It's high power, high cost. Even if that cost is just a usage cap, you burn through your daily allowance pretty quickly.
Exactly. You might only get 30 or 40 messages with the agent before you get cut off.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the most difficult, but also the most important part of this whole workflow.
Let's pause there for just a moment. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to discuss the manual bridge. The source calls this a one-way street problem, and apparently it's where most people give up. We'll explain how to cross it. Mid-roll sponsor read. We're back. We are breaking down the workshop to lab workflow for vibe coding. We've built in the workshop, that's studio. We've fixed the heavy bugs in the lab, that's anti-gravity, with our digital intern. But now we have a problem.
We do. It's the one-way street. You see, Google AI Studio connects to GitHub really easily. You can push code to the cloud, but, and this is a limitation of the current tools, you can't easily pull updated code back into the studio from GitHub without breaking the chat context.
Ah, I see. So you fixed the app in the high-tech lab. The code in the cloud is perfect, but your free workshop still has the old broken version sitting on the table.
Exactly. And if you stay in anti-gravity to keep building, you're going to hit the paywall at about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So you need a way to get the fixed code back to the free tool to restart the cycle. The guide calls this the manual bridge.
It sounds very low-tech.
It is incredibly low-tech, but it is the secret sauce that makes this whole free ecosystem work. Here's the process. In anti-gravity, you identify which files the agent changed. Usually it's not everything. It's likely just script.js or style.css. You download those specific files to your actual computer hard drive.
Okay, physically downloading them.
Yeah.
Right to the downloads folder.
Yes. Then you switch tabs back to Google AI Studio. You delete the old broken files from the sidebar. and you upload the new fixed ones you just downloaded.
It feels like a hack, honestly, moving files around manually in the age of AI.
It feels like a hack, but what does it achieve? It resets the loop. It only takes about 30 seconds of work, but it means you have updated your free workspace with high-quality code from the advanced tool. Now, you are ready to continue building new features with Gemini 3 Pro for free with a clean slate.
It seems like a hack, but what does it achieve?
It resets the loop. Build, save, fix, return. Unlimited apps, zero cost.
And honestly, for the price of free, 30 seconds of file management is a steal.
Absolutely. It's the toll you pay for bypassing the subscription fees.
Now, I want to pivot to mastery. The guide lists some pro tips for people who want to do this smoothly. Because simply knowing the loop isn't enough, you have to manage the AI. One of the tips caught my eye, the roadmap file.
This is crucial. This addresses the goldfish memory problem.
Yeah.
As you build, the AI processes thousands of tokens. Eventually, it can forget the big picture. It forgets why you built that button 3 hours ago. So the tip is, ask the AI to create a file called roadmap.MD.
A markdown file.
Right. And inside, you list the features.
Mm-hmm.
Project goal, daily journal. Feature 1, save button done. Feature 2, delete button todo. Feature 3, dark mode to do.
So it's like a project manager document that lives inside the code itself.
Exactly. Every time you switch tools or start a new session or upload those files back into the studio, the AI reads that roadmap.md file first. It instantly knows, okay, we're building a journal, we finished the save button, now I need to work on the delete button.
It anchors the AI.
It anchors the AI. It prevents hallucinations where it subtly decides you're building a recipe app. It keeps the vibe consistent.
That's really smart. What about the diff view? I feel like diff is kind of a scary word for non-coders, but the guide insists on it.
Diff just stands for difference. And in this workflow, it's a visual safety check. Before you save anything to GitHub, the tool shows you a comparison. The old code is on the left, the new code is on the right. Red lines mean code was deleted. Green lines mean code was added.
And what are we looking for?
They're looking for disaster. Sometimes the AI gets overzealous. You ask it to change the button color, and for some reason it deletes your entire database logic. If you see a huge block of red lines where your complex logic used to be, to stop.
So take 5 seconds, look for the sea of red.
Exactly. If it looks wrong, don't push it. Revert it.
Yeah.
It's the measure twice, cut once of vibe coding.
That's a good safety tip. And then there's grounding. We hear this term a lot in AI. How does it apply here?
Well, we have to remember, AI models are frozen in time. They are trained on data from the past. Depending on the model, the data might be from a year or two ago. In the tech world, code from 2023 can feel like it's from the Stone Age. Libraries change, syntax changes.
Right, using deprecated commands that don't even work in the browser anymore.
Exactly. So in AI Studio, you have a feature called grounding, or ground with Google Search. If you are struggling with a specific bug, you can turn that on and ask, what is the modern way to do this in 2026?
How do I do this in 2026?
It forces the AI to check the real internet, look at the latest documentation, and give you the fresh syntax. It keeps the code modern.
I love that. It's like telling the AI, don't rely on your memory, go check the manual.
Yeah.
But what happens when the AI just, I don't know, loses it? The source mentions a context window issue where the AI starts degrading.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's like talking to a human for 6 hours straight about complex algebra. Eventually, they just zone out. They start making mistakes they wouldn't normally make. The solution is remarkably human. Let it wash its face.
How do you wash an AI's face?
You declare bankruptcy on the chat. You open a brand new chat window.
Yeah.
You upload your files again, which, remember, are clean and organized because of our loop. And you give a short summary. Here is my app. Here is the roadmap. We're working on the delete button.
And it works.
It works wonders. It wakes up fresh, with zero baggage, zero confusion, ready to work.
So the key is managing the AI's memory and context.
Precisely. Keep the contents clean and the roadmap clear.
So let's zoom out. What does this all mean? We're talking about vibe coding, which sounds so casual, but this workflow is surprisingly rigorous. It feels like the exclusive club of software engineering is being dismantled brick by brick.
It is. It used to require years of study just to get your foot in the door. You had to understand pointers, memory allocation, recursion. Now, the barrier isn't syntax. The barrier isn't money. We just proved you can do it for free.
So if I'm a listener and I have an idea for an app, maybe it's a tool for my small business, maybe it's a silly game for my kids, what is the takeaway workflow?
It's simple. 1, build in Google AI Studio. That's your free workshop.
Yeah.
2, save to GitHub. That's your time machine. 3, fixing Antigravity. That's your lab with the agents. And 4, Return the files to the studio to keep the cycle going.
It's a beautiful loop, and it puts the power back into the hands of the person with the idea.
That's the most exciting part.
Mm.
The only thing stopping you now isn't a compiler error or a server bill, it's just your own imagination.
That is a provocative thought to end on. We are moving into a world where the technical execution is a commodity. It's free, it's instant. So if the technical barrier to building software is gone, the most valuable skill isn't coding anymore. It's having a clear, original idea and having the persistence to guide an AI to build it.
I can't wait to see what people create.
So listeners, don't overthink it. You have the guide. Open the laptop, type it in, see what happens. What will you build today? Thanks for diving in with us. We'll catch you on the next one.